This feeling that people get of a connectedness to a higher, more important, more meaningful, better world can be achieved through ritual. Individually, through meditation, through incantations, through prayer. The tools of science are hard to apply to what it is, this spiritual force that is created by ritual. It's hard to measure, but I'm telling you, as an agnostic verging on atheist, that it's real, it's there. It is a physical presence that if some scientists could figure out an instrument for measuring it, they would find something.
We all carry within us the full awakened enlightened truth, but it's within us at a level which is beyond our thinking mind. So we have to get to that level of consciousness beyond the thinking mind. If you're fundamentally present, then you master the art of living from presence. You're no longer lost in the mind. You're no longer living within the mind. You're an awakened being now. And you know who you are, you know where you are, you know where the truth of life is. It is in this moment.
Being a creative person, I try to remain in that space which Deepak calls the gap. An example of what I'm talking about is when Anne-Marie plays the violin and she's lost in the moment and she has a sort of serene look on her face and she's playing with the cosmos in a way. And that is extremely godlike to me, and it's within everybody. I would love Anne-Marie to play something improvised. You can just see that somewhere in that is peace and God.
Well spoken.
As we begin to experience that spark of divinity inside ourselves, there is that intuitive knowingness that there's something more to reality than meets our eyes of the flesh, if you will.
We are an extraordinary paradox that we are finite but created for the infinite.
If you take away the body, if you see your body dissolve, if you let go of the mind, and if you let go of past experiences, what we all are is divine spiritual light.
Too often we tend to identify ourselves solely with our body and with our mind, but forgetting all about the spirit, which is a spark of the divine within all of us.
And when you start to have a glimpse of that, you pay attention to that, that leads to a state of consciousness called cosmic consciousness, where you have local and non-local awareness at the same time. And you realize that you are not the body-mind, but the consciousness that differentiates into the body-mind and ultimately into the world.
Jung said that God actually doesn't have consciousness, which is why God created humanity to have consciousness, so that when we have consciousness of what is, that allows God to be, and that informs God. I think this makes good sense. That's real prayer.
Everyone has a parcel of the divine within themselves. It's a little bit like a spark. All you need to do is just put tinder into that spark, and the fire of the divine will consume the whole being.
And in Shinto shrine, we have a mirror as a holy item. Ultimately, our goal is to be exactly the same as the perfect God-like being. So we have to develop our God inside, and we have to develop ourselves, and we have to create our own God within us. That is why we have a mirror in our altar.
It's within us. It's within every single person that we meet. And that's what the Hindus do when they bow before each other in that way. They're acknowledging the divinity they are encountering in the other.
So when the two of us talk, and I don't forget that God is in you too. So in some way, the conversation we have is also like a prayer.
And if you go beyond cosmic consciousness, then you experience what is called divine consciousness. Divine consciousness or God consciousness is when the consciousness is experienced not only in the subject of experience, but also in the object of experience. Can you look at a tree and a flower and see rainbows and sunshine and earth and water and wind and air and the infinite void and the whole history of the universe and the spirit of the universe in a rose petal or a tree or another human being? Then you are in divine consciousness. Then God is not difficult to find. God is impossible to avoid, because every object of your perception shines through the filter of that divine intelligence. You send me love letters in the moon. The night said to the sun. And I leave you my answer as tears upon the grass.